Be right back.
Okay, never mind.
I really hope we're not live and he's pranking us. Like Joe's like, okay, start. Like it's the.
I just have to close my door.
Oh, we are live.
Okay.
I really hope we're not pranking us.
So, oh my god.
Oh no.
Like Joe's like, okay,
Double
start.
audio.
Like it's the...
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's all right. Good evening, everybody in the Yu-Gi-Oh! YouTube world. It is time to get in the Yu-Gi-Oh! With me, Jello the Casual Card Gamer, GoldenNovaYugioh, and JC Theater YGO, your favorite trio on this channel. Back again, because there hasn't been any other trios on this channel. So, yeah, there isn't really much to talk about in terms of new releases, because we barely got any. But before we get into that, guys, how are my dudes doing?
I'm duding. Just getting through some days, duding some dudes. Getting back from a bit of a hiatus last week.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm taking too much of those recently, but hopefully I can jump back into some mansplaining archetypes soon.
Oh man.
JC, what's up with you?
At the rate of your growth, you need to sleep it off sometimes, so that way you don't just keep ripping out of those clothes as you're growing as a larger and larger dominant force. So take all the time you need. But I'm doing pretty good. I finished WandaVision this Friday.
Oh, very nice.
This past Saturday, actually, not Friday. Very good. I've been really into the MCU lately. And then if you see here on my shoulder, I'm trying to build decks again right now because I have so many cores laying around. Currently, it's a Glad Beast Tri Brigade, trying to mix those together because it's not my idea. I've seen it like when I googled like Gladiator Beast 2021. Other people have thought of it first, but hopefully it becomes something and I can make it decent enough and fun enough to actually play. But how are you, Jello?
I am doing pretty well. I haven't really done anything Yu-Gi-Oh related in the past 2 weeks, but Out of the Box is done, so my sleeping schedule is back to the regular human being's sleeping schedule, about 5-6 hours a night. And I spent the entire afternoon today editing How to Vanguard Part 2, and I'm almost done. Like literally right before we jumped into the voice chat for this podcast, I was putting in the sound effects. So all I have to do now is add the music and render, and it'll be up probably tomorrow or Tuesday, depending on how the rest of that goes. And I have found a new love in casual card news, because I literally put almost no effort in, and I make videos. So I feel like that is the epitome of my existence as a YouTuber, just making content with the bare minimum amount of effort, because with boosters I have to make money to get those, and we're Out of the Box, as much as I love hanging out with you guys, takes away my sleep more than insomnia. So that's pretty much it.
It seems like it, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's been really fun. And speaking of Out of the Box, before we move into the meat of tonight's episode, I have a little trivia for you guys. So, and for the audience, of course. So, I have about 2 pieces of trivia, and I don't know if you guys will find any of this interesting, but I found it pretty interesting moving in, like just learning about it, because I like to look back just to see what kind of editing changes I could have made to make my life easier with older episodes. And I found out a few things. So right now, even though JC and Nova are tied for first, overall JC has more wins. So you have that. Like by like one.
Don't like that.
So
That's
early.
one too many. No.
And of course, in the same vein, I have the least wins. I only have 2 wins so far out of these 2 arcs that we've played. But the interesting part of these 2 wins is that both of these are off of Nova. I have not won a single game against JC this entire series yet. So I'm really hoping that once we get to Arc 3, I have no idea what we're going to be doing for Arc 3 because I think Ancient Guardians got pushed back. So once we get into Arc 3, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. So JC, watch out! I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you.
Hey, Jello's not the only one, JC. You better get ass in the back of your head, buddy.
Oh man!
Ancient Guardians comes around. I'm gonna get all my choir kids together, and we're gonna sing you a little tune. It's gonna be a dirge.
Hey! If that is the next arc, I have first pick.
That's fair. That's fair. Your musical talent far exceeds my own.
Oh man, I'm hoping I get the Do Re Mi cards. It'd be nice.
I just don't want bear kick.
Oh god. Okay.
I like the art, but
okay. I'm shotgunning bear chick now because every time there's an archetype JC doesn't want, that's the thing that does the best. He didn't want Abyss Actors. He didn't want Drytrons. And that's what topped each of these arcs. Oh, man.
JC's like the reverse oracle of the team. I get visions from beyond, but only like the wrong ones.
The reverse psychology. He was like, oh, yes. But yeah, I'll be very honest. I forgot what we're talking about tonight. So, JC, if you could take us away with tonight's timeline.
okay, so there isn't much of a timeline, as you can tell by our little title here, the Lull. So I think the main 3 talking points that we thought of ourselves is there is a new Do Re Mi chord card that is pretty crazy and honestly worth its own discussion a little bit. Mm-hmm. The OTS pack 16 coming kind of out of nowhere. I feel like 15 like just happened, you know, with that Arm Dragon level 10 and everything.
Yeah. And
then the final thing is we don't want to open up the can of worms because this could be like a 6-part, 2-hour each part episode. We want to kind of go over this kind of discussion about how the Pokemon trading card game like was kind of like bought out a lot over the past few months and how that seeped into Yu-Gi-Oh quite a lot. So those are the 3 points, and then we're finishing up the episode with something that literally Jello can attest to this. I've personally wanted to make part of the podcast since the first episode, and that is Q&A time. It's a long time coming, and these are going to be good and juicy. A lot of the questions seem nice. I do want to preface this with saying we're not going to get to all of them today, but I think we're all in agreement that going forward, we're just going to answer 1 or 2 after at the end of each podcast episode. So you guys can keep on sending them our way at Jello, do you remember the email?
intheyugiknowpodcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, we set up an email the first episode, going on the second episode. You can send your questions there, and of course, send it to us on Twitter or wherever, and we'll compile them and have them ready. Because it's a nice palate cleanser for the end of the episode anyway.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going through. I don't read cards, so someone take this off of me talking about the new Do Re Mi chord card.
Okay. So I read into it a little because of Casual Card News. So I can't remember it adds that level of consistency that the initial release didn't have. And now the deck looks really good in isolation, which is why I'm super excited to shotgun it when Ancient Guardian comes around. The only issue I potentially have is its rarity, because that wasn't really revealed. But I don't see it. I hope it's a rare, but it could be a super. I don't think they'll kick it up to Ultra just because of the potential for other reprints in the set that still haven't been revealed, I believe. I think there's what else are we getting in this set? I think it was revealed that we were getting like was it true? I think we were getting True Dracos in this set too. I can't remember. It was another pendulum archetype that's getting reprinted in this set alongside Doremi.
Not Draco Slayers.
Is it Draco Slayers? Oh, okay.
The Draco Slayer, I believe. Let me look up. Professional too. We look things up as we're talking about them.
Yep.
Product.
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
We need that podcast team where it's like literally the interns that like super quickly media literate, like they find things instantly and they're like, this is our fact check.
Yeah.
Wavering Eyes.
And then I think it's off of the list now, but oh wait, did we not talk about King's Court?
Oh, we didn't. No, that's correct.
I don't think so, but like, what's to talk about there yet?
Yeah, nothing.
Oh yeah, it's literally the most bare bones description and no image so far. But
one thing that I just want to throw in there, if King's Court is going to be like another side set, but it's just the Egyptian god cards, I'm saying it now with my tinfoil hat on, collector's rare god cards.
No, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's just a business model that they've adopted. That's facts.
Can you imagine what those would look like, though?
Ghost Player, Office, and Slifer.
Oh my gosh, that would be beautiful.
Gotta go with the Ghost Player Raw. Yeah, that makes sense.
That would be nice. So while we're looking for the set list of Ancient Guardians, I'll just shout out the chat. We have the Death Machine. What's up? We have Larry20. Hey guys, what's up? What's up, Larry? It's good to have you back. We got Fat Guy Yu-Gi-Oh and Tario Frost, and yeah, I'm hoping that I'll have a comeback at some point in the year. But these two are just too good for me.
Hell, I believe in you.
Thanks, Nova.
Even in the you that believes in me, that believes in you.
And let's see. It might be a good idea to put the email into the chat or tweeting email. Okay, so I'm gonna put that in now in the Yugi No. Yeah.
Oh wow, the reprints in the OCG version of this pack are bare bones. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe why they pushed it back. Cause not even the OCG knows what they want in there yet.
Yeah, only Wavering Eye. Wavering Eye is the only pendulum support that they're printing in Ancient Guardians. Is there a separate set that's reprinting the Draco Slayer stuff that I'm not aware of?
I don't think so.
All I know is that on the actual TCG website, it says Ancient Guardians will also include classic cards for pendulum strategies like Luster Pendulum, the Draco Slayer, and Ignister Prominence, the Blasting Draco Slayer. One time earlier, they also before like the names were even announced and it was just like a musical archetype, a snake arc, you know what I mean? Like when it was the teasers, they said Snake Rain by name was going to be in this set, but of course there's always the disclaimer at the bottom where set content subject to change. If they don't have Snake Rain in this set, I'm gonna cry. I sold my Snake Rains because I was like, I'm the only person in the Yu-Gi-Oh community who read this apparently. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong, remembering it wrong or something. Maybe someone sent me a fake link. I don't know, but hopefully it's not there now though, but hopefully Snake Rain will be in the set as well, because obviously that'll be really good for the Abyss player, which is hopefully me, since I don't want Bear Arctic and Do-Re-Mi chords are Jellos. So Zane, you were the bear person.
I'm Bear. I'm Bear Man.
I hate myself because every time I say I'll stop going for what my heart desires, the next set gives me something what my heart desires. I'm like, stop it. Give me. Like,
I will say probably. Go ahead.
I've been rereading the Do-Re-Mi chords tonight in preparation for talking about this spell.
Yeah.
I'm a little scared, actually.
Yeah, because they have like built-in. They have built-in protection, like in scale, right?
Yeah, like I was really upset that there were a bunch of pendulum monsters with like only 2 not super relevant pendulum effects. But like reading the individual monsters, it's like this effect applies to all of your do re mi's for everyone that you have. And it's like, oh god, this is some S4 stuff. Holy, oh no.
It'll be fun.
No.
It'll be fun for me personally because I've never used a pendulum deck before. Like I have 3 Endymion structure decks just in the background of all of my videos. I keep telling myself I'll open you one day, and then it never comes. So, yeah, this will be interesting. So
Calling it now. Oh no, go ahead.
This arc will solidify whether or not I ever open those things or I throw them into a fire.
I'm telling you, if the Zephyra Link monster with 3 down pointing arrows is part of that set, if they were printed for that, JC and I are toast. That's what they need. They need a way to pendulum 3, and that's the perfect one for them. And I'm gonna go feral, and that happens.
Oh man, I personally cannot wait to see what is in this set. Like, because there has to be a reason besides maybe, you know, Alan Mack not being able to get us any leaks that they pushed it back. There has to be a good reason why. Or maybe they're just like trying to figure out what to replace Snake Rain with. Let's give him Effect Veiler or something. But anyway,
we put a Snake Rain rare.
That would suck.
Effect Veiler honestly wouldn't be that bad in out of the box though, because then we would at least have a hand trap to go around, and probably too to add to the Starlight and Ultimate Rare. But
yeah, it'd come out. It'd be a collector's. Oh my god. I feel like that card has a rarity and like has a printing in every rarity at this point.
Even Platinum.
It does,
especially.
Yeah,
oh,
it came in the Noble Knight thing.
Oh, okay.
That's rarity.
Yeah, I'm out of here now. There's a bunch of Platinum Rare haters out there. You have no style.
Yeah.
You have no taste.
For once, I think we're the majority. This is the first time Platinum fans have converged.
I like the rarity, personally. Like, I know the last time that we talked about it, I kind of like bagged on them a bit, but I like them now because I have one. Is the ignoble Knight Synchro monster from that set as well?
Yeah, High Lodslin, baby.
Him. I just can't pronounce his name. Anyway, guys, is there anything that you wanted to add to the Do Re Mi chord elegance discussion? Because there's something that I wanted to talk about that I completely forgot until this moment.
I'm looking forward to elegance as part of the archetype. I worry that it might flop more than people are expecting, because technically the last effect resolves at a -1, even though you're drawing 2, and that's good for drawing into cards that you need. That's great.
Yeah.
But A, it's big ash bait, and B, if you don't have that link with 3 downward pointing arrows to recoup the cost, then you're unlikely going behind. But that will require actual testing. That's my 2 cents on elegance.
That's very fair. I think in a vacuum, this card is crazy, but like you said, the more you actually think about what's happening with the cards, that draw 2 cards in general is like a buzzword where you're instantly like, wow, this card's amazing, which it might be, but I definitely think you're pretty on the nose with it probably not being as broken as people initially are like, oh my gosh, draw 2 cards. But I like it. It definitely is something really cool, and I think Do Re Mi chord deserve it. I think historically waifu decks, decks that Jello likes to pick up in out of the box aren't, in my opinion, and kind of in general, not the strongest of the set. And I don't know if Do Re Mi chord will be the strongest of the set, but it's definitely hyping them up a little more than I initially thought, and they deserve it for once. So that's all I got to say about those gals.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for supporting my deck. And I like that you guys say that
every day.
I like that you guys say that in a vacuum. this card will be really good because out of the box is basically a vacuum. So, oh, it feels so
Dang,
good.
you're right. There's no Ash Blossom in that format. Never mind. Elegance broken.
And then
I'm
they
gonna go talk to the emergency ban list committee.
and then they replace Snake Rain with Ash Blossom. That'd be the turn. that'd be the turn.
Gross.
But before we move on, we have Unfound Prodigy in the chat. Haven't had time to stop by in a while. What's up, guys? Nothing much, Unfound. Thank you for dropping by. I have also noticed that it's been a while since you were last on, but it's good to have you. And John R. Okay, so John R. is just explaining platinum rares to Tario. Anyway, guys,
And they're explaining why they're wrong, basically. Yeah, I can see that.
So we have a set that we're all looking forward to that has had no leaks, basically no leaks whatsoever. We had like a very slight drop, but then that like evaporated before it touched the floor, and that was Doremi Chord Elegance. And the other set that I forgot to add into the timeline was Ghosts from the Past. So if you guys have been on the internet for more than a week in the past 14 days, you will have seen a bunch of different claims of leaks from Ghosts from the Past. Now, I think that most of these are pretty crazy because some of the cards in them just don't make any sense. Because I know that there have been different iterations of this set list coming out, and it could be one of two things. One, they're fake, and that's the more likely one. And two, Konami is like, okay, this is the set list, and then they release it, and they're like, oh crap, wait, no, let's change this, and then they release a new one like right after. So, what are your thoughts on all of this? Because I feel like this is a pretty big talking point considering how close this one is coming up.
Well, I think that it sucks that Ghosts of the Past has kind of sat on the ban list for this long, and we're just never going to stop hearing the end of it until April comes around. I don't think we're going to get it until then.
You think?
Like, Firewall's supposed to be reprinted in there, right? Like,
Yeah.
That's confirmed at least.
Yeah.
So if they do it before then, and obviously there's not a lot of events going on, so I guess Konami doesn't have a huge incentive to worry about that. But if they have any invitationals or extravaganzas till then, and you don't do it right up against Ghosts of the Past, you're going to have a Firewall format, unhinged Firewall format. Crazy.
I just got to.
What are you going to do? Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say those 2 days that Makura the Destructor was unerrated and
God.
legal were the worst days of my life. We can't have this happening with Fire Dragon also, or Firewall Dragon also.
Yeah, I think that sucks. I'm saying all of this specifically to stall while I pull up the list for Ghost Rare cards.
Oh man, because I don't know which version of it you guys have seen, but if you know, I think his name is Neil on Twitter, Sage of Ancients. That was the set list that I used for coverage like last week, and there were a couple cards there that made me, just go question mark, and I'm gonna shoot them at you guys, and I just want to hear your input on those. So the 4 cards that I found really strange were Red Eyes Fusion, Shadal Schism, Lightning Storm, and Harpy's Feather Duster. Now, because the only reason that these 4 stuck out to me so much were because they already had their reprints, and at least 2 of them are slated for a reprint later in the year in the Megatins. So I don't really see the point in them doing it here and then putting them in the Megatins. Because what happened with... what was it? What happened with Imperm was that it was printed in Dual Overload, and then I don't recall if it was reprinted because it was either not reprinted or I just never pulled one. But if you guys could enlighten me and our audience on that, what do you think?
The Harpy's Feather Duster, I feel, makes sense. Like, it's an iconic card.
But it just got reprinted in Maximum Gold too, and that copy's like dirt cheap.
That's fair. It might be a situation where Harpy's Feather Duster was not printed for the long, and now trying to put more into circulation by way of this. But then again, that would be putting a ghost rare into circulation to fix a supply problem, which is a self-defeating Ouroboros of reason. So I retract my argument.
What do you think, JC?
So I have a few things. So we've seen with the Sky Striker core, as well as with Boral Sword Dragon. What was this, 2018 or 19 or whatever? It was reprinted in Battles of Legend and then also in the Megatins. So that logic, kind of like, I feel like they've done that before, where they reprinted something and then reprinted it again, kind of close together. So that's why I think the Lightning Storm and what was the other ones? I know the Harpy's Feather Duster, Lightning Storm,
Sadal Schism, and Red Eyes Fusion.
Schism and Red Eyes Fusion. So Schism and Lightning Storm I can see them doing that, kind of like a double reprint almost, since it is slated to be reprinted later. I could also see them reprinting Harpy's Feather Duster, kind of with what Nova was saying, with the whole, like, just to get as many copies as possible out there. I do kind of see them potentially doing that, since it is such an old card that's been banned for so long. And then with the other card, which I forgot again. I'm sorry, what was
Red Eyes Fusion.
Red Eyes Fusion. Yeah, I try to forget it. You know, like I've tried to brain control myself in order to not recognize Red Eyes Fusion. But that, I think, is the least likely thing in my eyes to be on there, except for, you forgot this one other thing, which you might be looking at two separate like leak lists, but I saw one that had Ghosts from the Past, the trap card, as a reprint in Ghosts from the Past. And I do not think, we've all seen Hey Trunade, right? We've all seen the text in the Fur Hires. I don't think the TCG is clever enough to really capitalize on anything such as that. So I think that's the most fakest leak I've seen, is a Ghost from the Past being in Ghost from the Past. And that's basically all the all my thoughts on this leak list. After hearing what we bring to the table, has that swayed anything that you've thought about, Jello, with these leaks? Because I think you've had the most time to like sit on and marinate on this potential leak.
Yeah, I kept them in the oven too long and now they're burnt. So I don't know, because
if we could stop referring to each other as being marinated, I'd really appreciate that, because that makes me more hungry and uncomfortable saying out loud on a podcast to several people.
Yeah, it does make it does change my mind a little bit. I see them maybe doing it, like, because the thing is, for me, because I don't know how much was, I'm sorry, I'm just like bouncing all over the place, but how much was Boral Sword before it got double reprinted? Because originally it was just a secret in Cybernetic Horizon, right?
Yeah, I know at the time of its first reprint in Battles of Legend, it was like 20-ish for an ultra rare, and then I think it was reprinted again as secret in the Megatins, and then it became around 15-ish, not necessarily not breaking 20 for both copies ish, and then whatever it is now, of course, and then it was reprinted in Maximum Gold and stuff. So I think it like cut the price in like half, because again, it went from secret to ultra and then secret again.
It went from,
and then also with that timeline,
it went from secret, because it was reprinted as a secret in Battles of Legend, because I remember pulling one.
Secret?
Yeah, because I had to open those for Zero to Hero, so it was like a really short printed secret, but it's in there as a secret.
Okay,
and then it got reprinted as an ultra in the Megatin. Yeah. But yeah,
it was a 2019 Megatin. I remember pulling the ultras now. Never mind. Forget what I said. But my point still stands that it was around the $20 price range. And I think it also fit the timeline of when Boral Sword wasn't the boss monster. Still very powerful, but you know how like other boss monsters were kind of coming out that you could go into. So even though it's definitely a mainstay in a lot of extra decks, it definitely wasn't the top dog around when it was also being reprinted then. So I think that kind of mixed together to make it a decent for what it is, a decent price.
Okay, yeah, that sort of makes sense, because looking at Lightning Storm, that card is stupidly expensive right now. Like, it hasn't left its high chair of like what, $120 Canadian, because fat guy in chat is saying that Boral Sword was about $100 Canadian before its first reprint. But yeah, Lightning Storm is, I don't know if they'd want to, you know, okay, now it makes sense to me. Like, if they wanted to sell this set, then that would probably be the selling point outside of the Ghost Rares. But at the same time, there are like a bunch of other things in this set list, quote and unquote, that just made no sense to me. Like the Heretics being in here. I'm like, why are you in here when you were in dual power? So, yeah, they're just a bunch of weird things. And Shadal Schism, I don't even know what Shadal Schism does. I have a bunch of them sitting in binders in places. I just don't remember what they do. Yes, Nova?
Shadal Schism is the card that makes both Invoked and Dogmatica broken, which sounds it makes no sense to me, but there we are.
Okay. Awesome. All right. So I don't want to talk about that too long. So shall we go into the next topic?
Wait, before we do, I just got to say, so we talked about Lightning Storm, a very expensive card that we need multiples of that could potentially have a reprint in this Ghost from the Past. But you know what also very expensive card is getting a reprint? Forbidden Droplet. Let's go.
Oh,
OTS pack 16. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. You can continue. I just thought that'd be a nice transition.
It worked. You got Nova to turn off for a sec.
I just want Staples to be affordable.
Yeah.
I mean, please let Staples be affordable for once, please. I'm begging you. I'm on my seat right now. Please stop doing this to me.
I know. It sucks because, like,
I want to play your game in paper, please.
I don't like it. Like, I understand that, like, max rarity people, you know, bling bling from your head to your toe. Though those players are having, you know, like, orgasms and stuff, and their wallets are just crying. But yeah, like Nova said, I just wanna have a competitive deck, and in real life, and be able to, you know, smell it, touch it, and, you know, lick it without thinking I'm losing $500. I feel like this is them making up for the lack of enthusiasm for OTS 15. Like, people have been very critical of it. I feel like it's been sort of undeserved, like, at some levels. Like, I know that it was pretty underwhelming, but at the same time, you know, like, people have been taking cracks at it a little harder than they should be. But yeah, for those people who are gonna get them, maybe I'll get a few OTS packs. I'm not shelling out that much money on a single droplet, but
maybe I'll get a few droplets. Maybe, I don't know, depending on how I feel.
Just flexing. But yeah, I'm happy for the people that want
what's
it.
that Arrested Development? It's just
It's just a droplet. It's just an ulti droplet.
What's it, like, $80?
I know.
All right, go ahead.
Like, because, like, I've always been in the camp of I'd rather spend like $80 on a box and then get other things that I might need along the way than $80 on one card that I'll probably trade away later anyway because I don't play competitively. So, you know, whatever. Has no effect on me. What about you guys? Nova, I
will
know
say-
that you have been going into the thinker a little bit on this one.
I know it's going a bit ahead of schedule about talking about how free market capitalism ruins Yu-Gi-Oh, but like remember when the secret rares were specifically for like archetype boss monsters? Duelist Alliance was like, you know, the secret rares were Construct, Delteros, Dante, and the Yang Zing Synchro, and a couple of ultra rares in there. But like, if you and your friends bought a couple of boxes, you could shuffle around the high rarity cards, and everyone can get a deck of a specific kind. But you know, now the extravagances and the prosperities are secrets, and the droplets, and like every staple card.
Yeah.
Like it sucks.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
It keeps it from being a trading card game. You know, hey, you got something that I like, you got something that I want. Let's trade. Now it's just we'll just go through this catalog and I'll buy all of them now. And that
Yeah.
it's not a long-winded rant about that one. It just sucks.
It does. Like, I understand that some people like make their living off of that kind of thing, and I'm not gonna bag on them for it because, you know, I don't think that's like a horrible thing in general. But, you know, for the people that get caught in between, who don't have that kind of money to, you know, flip cards and things like that, it really sucks. What about you, JC?
JC, do you have any thoughts on that?
So I guess because I have very not deep thoughts, but very strong thoughts on the whole kind of almost like vultures coming into the card game sphere and just seeing it as a money flipping opportunity. Because I think I'm okay with like, because vendors and card stores and stuff that sell mainly like sealed product and stuff like that, of course that's not like really the issue. I understand the whole thing that vendors literally have to change their price to meet supply and demand kind of thing, which sucks because it puts them in a weird spot. But that again is kind of like how Nova said, it's kind of jumping the gun slightly. I just want to get this out of the way. Forbidden Droplets, very I think everyone can agree it's okay for the people who really like upping their rarity, but it kind of feels like a slap in the face because the lowest rarity version of the card is still very, very expensive and very needed. But I will say, I think this Cyber Dragon alternate art with the black Cyber Dragon, I think that's going to be the first ultimate rare that I'm going to buy in like modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Potentially. Of course, if it, because right out the gate, if it came out as like 200 USD, I wouldn't be surprised, and then I won't buy it, right? But if I see a reasonable, you know, price or something, I might like sell a few decks for it, you know, because that's just I'm actually very excited for that, unless it comes out like the ultimate rare Arm Dragon level 10 where it's just the background and like the picture is just like a flat image, then I have to see it, I guess. But I am excited about that, and the super rares look pretty good. I know it's been a trend for a while, so it's not like I'm putting anything revolutionary into the pot, but I like that they take those random lower rarity cards from archetypes and just give them that super rare treatment. And King of the Skull Servants, shout out Skull Servant players who have one of the most expensive decks versus the win rate ratio in competitive games, with the speed duel super rare being so expensive. I'm glad they finally can get a super rare that's decent, for sure. So I think overall this OTS pack is good. Jello, if you have any closing thoughts on the OTS pack, then if not, or once you do say yours, then we could definitely move on to the bashing people who have made this game unfun by buying all the cards at my local Walgreens. So
okay,
you can go off a little bit.
Yeah, like touching on the Skull Servant thing, when it was, I don't know, I think it was a couple of days before those reveals were announced. I was playing around with some Skull Servants on Dueling Book, and I was like, okay, this seems kind of fun. And then I go on to TCG Player because I already have two Kings of the Skull Servants, so I'm like, okay, I just need everything else. So I went and, you know, started filling up my shopping cart, and then I get to King of the Skull Servants, And then I think to myself, okay, the speed duel one should be the cheapest because it has the speed duel watermark on it. And then it's like, why is this thing $14? It makes no sense to me. but yeah, like it was really weird to me. So I'm glad that this will shoot the price down of that a little bit so that people can have fun with their skeletons and stuff. But yeah, I think that's everything. And before we do move into what I think is probably the most serious discussion we've ever had on this show, I just want to delve into the chat a little bit. So let's see. Money is always important. I wouldn't disagree there. Just for the spare change that people might have to spend. Most deck cores aren't even too expensive right now. It's the staples that cost a lot. That's true. If I didn't already have my Tri Brigade parts, I wouldn't be making my my Harpy Brigade deck, which somebody already made before I got to like post a video. Now people will think I'm just jumping on the trend. But yeah, we have Artists with a Throwback. We could use another Dual Devastator 2.0. I'd love that. I'd like that. Just buy 3 of them. Makes my sealed only journeys a lot easier. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So, JC, take us away. Like these scalpers are taking away our cards.
Okay, so
Excellent
for those of you who are unaware, I don't know if we're able to post links in the chat. I don't know how YouTube works, but there was a YouTube video by a YouTuber named Frosted Caribou, who is a Pokemon YouTuber, who posted this video basically detailing the okay, I'm posting it now in the chat. Hopefully it's not like blocked or something, I don't know, but who posted a YouTube video kind of going over wait, what?
I'll be able to unblock it if ever.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you. Posted a YouTube video kind of going over the whole issue with the Pokemon product being bought out so much from big box stores, pre-orders increasing because of that, and just in general, ever since. Long story short, I definitely, it's a long video, but I definitely implore you all to watch it because it's very important, because even though she only touches on Pokemon, I personally, and I definitely can confirm, it has bled into Yu-Gi-Oh for sure. Just looking at my local Target, Walmart, any big box store, Yu-Gi-Oh product is very slim pickings where I'm at. I mean, it's not just Team Samurai X1 coming over to my Walmart and buying everything. It's like actual like people trying to get all this product as soon as possible and flip it. And an issue comes up where I want to preface this because she prefaces it in her video as well. I'm not bashing anyone. It's literally the facts that Logan Paul bringing so many new eyes or like hype beast mentality and stuff like that to Pokemon as a kind of like stock market, which as Yu-Gi-Oh players, we all know market watches, like Yu-Gi-Oh has been a stock market. Trading card games have been their own microcosm of stock markets for a very long time now. Yeah. But he definitely brought more eyes to it, and so Pokemon's been heavily affected by people literally opening up cereal boxes with the new Pokemon 25th anniversary Pokemon cards in it, getting so many Happy Meals and getting the boxes of Happy Meal promo cards for the Pokemon cards, and stuff like that. And it's just really crazy how like very right now, the time we're living in, we are being affected by a lot of outside forces kind of coming into the card game sphere. Trying to use it as just money, and that's affecting us being able to get product and stuff. So I just want to kind of open up the discussion. I think it's interesting that I think all 3 of us kind of are a different realm of Yu-Gi-Oh players in terms of our relationship with product, and of course we overlap. So what I'm about to say is not the definitive only this for Nova and only this for Jello, but I think Jello definitely falls into the category of like content creator almost, in terms of like the product he gets becomes content, right? Like his openings, like Zero to Hero and stuff like that, with the Vanguard products he's been opening on the channel and stuff. So he has a dual purpose of getting the product, but also it's what he's doing or content. You know, like there's a purpose behind it. Nova, I know, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I know with like especially modern times, events are very far and in between, but I feel like you are definitely more the player. I feel like again, this is based off just seeing your content. The cards you own are the cards you use in remote duels, right? Like I don't think you're very much like I'm gonna buy all these boxes and collect because you haven't been bitten with the horrible affliction that Jello and I have gotten. And then I feel like again, I do it for content, but I'm also a collector, again, just like Jello is, but I'm just more of like I want to buy it because I want it, and then like I don't know. So I feel like we're all different branches. So has this affected you guys, I guess, and what are your thoughts on this? This is very open-ended. I don't really have a question to kind of gear us in a direction, but this is basically the very quick rundown of a almost hour-long video, which again, I really implore you guys to watch because it definitely directs very closely with Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic to an extent, but I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is being affected more than Magic from the whole Pokemon craze of resellers and stuff. So I open the floor to you two now that I can't breathe because I've been talking for so long. So,
did you want to go first, Nova, or
only if you don't want to.
okay. Is it okay if I go first?
Please go ahead.
Okay, so as the probably resident shopping carter here. I feel like the biggest difference between like Team Sam going out and buying out places, or like Larry in the Hole to like a lesser extent, because he doesn't go out, he has a budget, right? Like Team Sam goes out and he, like, one of his latest videos is I spent $10,000 on an eBay collection, which I wish I could do and not have to starve for the next half year. But like the difference between them and this whole new wave of buyers is that Team Sam, Team APS, Simply Unlucky, and those guys, they're actually part of the community. They aren't here to make a quick buck, or to flip something, like you preface this entire conversation with. So I don't think that it's fair to everybody else, like what we said with the droplets earlier, right? Like there are still people, like, even though they are players, that go to their OTSs, take basically every OTS pack, open them for the ultimate rares, and then flip them like right on the market like that minute, right? So like the average player just gets stuck in a really weird position where they either shell out giant amounts of money for a card or they don't play with it. So, and it also like breaks down to another level where if you're a casual player, if you're a filthy casual like Jello, it doesn't matter as much. But if you want to compete, then these cards are kind of essential, and if people are buying them out, then it makes it that much harder to sustain like a healthy community, because you'll be stuck in one of two camps, where you have it because you spent a ton of money, or you don't have it because you either don't have the money for it or you don't want to spend that kind of money on it. So it really sucks, because I don't really see a way to get around it right now, because people could say, oh yeah, just print more boxes, print more copies, but then if they do that, then scalpers will just pre-order more, right? It's the same thing that happened with the PS5s and the Xbox Series 1s and everything. Like they got scooped up right away. Even with Digimon, like I thought that it was just a problem in Canada, right? But turns out it's a problem everywhere. Like even in Asia, they're having a bit of an issue with the English release because of how little and how much nostalgia is sort of weaved into the game. And that's one thing that I think that's like the biggest draw and the biggest affliction with games like Digimon, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh. Like people have such a strong association to it, which is why they gravitate so heavily towards it. I remember Team APS putting up a tweet on Twitter.com, talking about like what makes the big three of card games so different compared to other games, and that's why like even though I love Yu-Gi-Oh, I love playing Yu-Gi-Oh, I love the experience and all the content creating and everything, but one of the reasons why Vanguard is so special to me is because it hasn't been hit with that same type of, like overinflated secondary market. And if it is, it's only because like copies are so hard to come by. But like looking at how much it costs to make a complete competitive deck in all of these games, like I'm scared moving forward that they'll get it'll just inflate and inflate and inflate and inflate and inflate until like you get like a mini economy like going on in this space. So I don't like it. I implore, if any of you people are watching, have mercy on the community that actually uses these cards outside of just for making money. Like I'll admit, like a lot of the cards that I get, like because I've opened up a lot of Rise of the Duelist. I opened up a case of Phantom Rage and Eternity Code. Like I sold everything because I don't really need them, and I made my money. So now I don't have to pay for like my next couple months worth of product. So I can see where the draw is, but I hope personally that this whole nostalgia crap stays with the nostalgia crap. Like, okay, get your $500 like Gem Mint 10 Blue Eyes White Dragons, or your Dark Magicians, your Dark Magician Girls. Take those things, but leave the crap that I'm using right now alone. Cause cause you're just gonna make my life hard, and the only thing that you are going to do for me is make me want to find you and punch you in the face, because that's how aggravating this whole market has become. Because like it's the first time that I ever felt it was with Toon Chaos, and then it just started getting worse. So I have to pre-order things 2 months in advance and still maybe not even get anything. So it really sucks. I'm sorry, I got a little too emotional there.
Oh no, trust me, I'm right there with you, Joe. I totally understand that.
And yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, so I was watching through the video from Frozen Caribou, the JC Theater, and I would once again implore everyone who is watching right now to give it a watch. The hour for that goes by like 15 minutes because of how well edited it is. It's very good. What stuck with me was actually in the first like 10 minutes of the video, where it's not even it's not footage of them, it's footage of a number of other commentators in the community. People who are going to stores and they're looking at things and they're seeing that it's all gone. People who make content on YouTube about it where you can't buy any of it. And there was a certain point where one of them said, I don't understand. I know that there's this big rush for Pokemon cards and like it's a free market. You can buy whatever you want, but why does it have to be the thing that I like?
Yeah.
And that the way that's worded makes it feel like it was some random event plucked from the ether. Mm-hmm. Pokemon was the victim of it this couple of months. A few months down the line, it'll be, I don't know, insurance subsidies. I don't know, but like they think that some kind of just random economic thing happened to them, but like they're interconnected.
Yeah. Because
it's a free market, someone can come by and exploit a situation like this. I'm still like refining ideas for like whenever I make this like a whole produced video, but there's an issue when you can when the same there's no restriction, there's no difference when going to a store and buying cards that you like and enjoy and want to share and hand sanitizer. Mm-hmm. Obviously one's more important to your existence than the other one, especially right now. I don't mean to say that
the hand sanitizer is useless.
Yeah, no, not at all. But like that's that's a perspective that we have on our end. When we go to a store and buy something, the application for these two items are vastly different from each other.
Mm-hmm.
But from the seller's point of view, commodities like those are a medium through which we give them money. They don't care about the emotional connections we have with those items or what we need to use them for. So when someone says, I don't understand why Pokemon cards or Yu-Gi-Oh cards are getting so price hiked and the scarcity is so low, why are scalpers targeting it? They're targeting it because there's no barrier in place to keep people from abusing that system.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, the pricing on really high rarity staple cards is not confined to the current pandemic. This has been an issue with the community for years and years and years, but it only gets worse in situations like this because supply is getting so low and demand is getting even higher because it looks like I'm stuck in this box on your screen right now, but mentally I feel stuck in a box and I want as many things as I can to make me feel good, which makes people vulnerable to buying things at a higher price than they need to because they want that emotional connection to make them feel better.
Yeah.
And it sucks. And I don't know what the solution is at this point, because the only thing that you can do to make people make different economic choices is legislation. But there's no one who's going to go on the floor of any kind of state legislature and be all like, I need to make sure that the amount of trading cards is equally distributed. It's
hard because, like, you either keep it the way it is or you bar it from you make it harder for everyone. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like you were talking earlier about how, like, you were buying like a case of certain things to get it, and I felt kind of like, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but were you saying that as kind of like I bought this case, but it's not as bad as other things? Was that like the idea you were trying to get across?
Kind of. It's like I buy cases because, like, my main sort of content is opening things. So, like, people don't come in to watch just one box anymore. Like you have YouTubers like Crush Card and Sam opening up like these huge things. So it's like if you saw somebody open up a case, why would you go and watch somebody open up a box? Unless, it's one of those very, like, really weird, like, 1 week before actual release, somebody gets a box somehow and then you open it. Like, they open it. Yeah. But, like, it's to keep up. And I feel like that's become a problem in itself. But, that's besides the point of the whole video. So,
yeah. I totally agree with that. And, like, we're not talking, like, when I say this kind of stuff, I'm not talking about the people who go out and buy a case like Jello does sometimes, or to keep up with the cultural demand of buying as much as possible. It's not people buying a case. It's people buying every single case that's available and then tripling the price.
Yeah.
On that kind of stuff. And so, yeah, there's the cultural incentive to make sure that everyone else buys as much as possible to keep up. Then there's the fact that also has a knock-on effect financially on a secondary market that already has an issue supplying players with staple cards at a reasonable cost. And one could say that that's I don't know if I've seen it in this sphere of in the Yu-Gi-Oh sphere. But financially, there's people like, well, that's just capitalism gone wrong. You're not supposed to have scalpers. That's wrong. That's not how the system's supposed to go. But, like, the system is supposed to let people make money with as little restrictions as possible. That's not a bug. That's a feature.
Yeah.
Things tripling in price when supply gets low is not some failure of the system. It's meant to work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, it just sucks. And I think that, and I don't want to make it sound like it should be less important because it's collectibles.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly think that has the same kind of effect on essentials. We saw what happened.
Yeah.
The pandemic hit. That, and those systems the exact same systems that are being used to exploit trading cards, and there's a lot less regulation on that right now because people see them as luxury items, and they are. But it's a crummy connection between those two, and it sucks that it happens, and I get deeply frustrated whenever people try to like dismiss that. Like, that's just Yu-Gi-Oh! That would never happen in a real commodities thing. That wouldn't happen to like water or something.
Yeah. Or tissue paper.
Or tissue paper, or hand sanitizer, or gas,
or masks.
Or masks. When there was a hurricane a couple of years ago, and I remember leaving work, and there's a gas station right across the way from where I worked, lying down the highway trying to get there.
God.
People were leaving Galveston, and they had to get fuel because they didn't know how far they'd have to drive away, and oil prices shot up, and then nothing was around because everything was gone, and there were people like hawking. I'm getting way off topic here, but hopefully everyone realizes that what we're seeing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a symptom, and I hope that it's a learning opportunity, that what can happen here can't happen everywhere, because like what happened in Frozen Caribou's video, a representative of the Pokemon TCG community was sitting at a table with a bunch of essentially stockbrokers talking about how the future of Pokemon cards will be great for business because we can hoard them and then hand them out to people who can afford the 6-digit price points on that kind of stuff. Thank you for your time, everyone.
I just want to say, this is kind of off topic. This is a little refresher because this is very deep, very real conversation that actually affects us, like how Nova was just saying. Even though it's not an essential, it's kind of like part of our identities also, right? Like, it's definitely something that gives us joy. And I don't want to keep harping on it because we specifically didn't want this to be a blow up conversation, because again, like I said, it could be a 12-hour video, right? But something that stuck with me in those clips at the beginning of her video was someone mentioned it's almost like a class thing. It's becoming like a classist thing where you have to be at a certain financial level to get into this stupid little card game. You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, like, there's something that so that's crazy. Definitely watch the video. But something else real quick, kind of off topic. If you're talking about Irma, my golf brother going on here, I know that during that hurricane in Florida, I saw the same thing with the gas stations with the cars looped around so many times and stuff. Very, very crazy. But I think with us getting so much off of our chests, I know it's Jello's diligent duty that goes over the chat, but there's been a lot of good conversation going on. I don't think time-wise we have time to go over all of it, but personally, as someone who's kind of been glancing at it, thank you guys. I love when it's like explosive, like good conversation, and just know, even if I'm not directly talking to certain points, I am reading it, so thank you. It is very good conversation. But speaking of interaction, usually my shifts to new topics are a little better, but again, like I said, this was such a heavy, important topic. I'm just going to get into it.
You could feel the anger for a bit.
Questions. Wait, I'm sorry, what?
You could feel the anger a little bit. Like, at some point, you're like,
we gotta,
God damn it!
Yeah.
I'm breaking my rules of no derogatory terms on this channel. What you do to me, scalpers?
We have some Q&A questions, guys. Nova was so gracious enough to ask his wonderful audience. And, of course, we have overlapping audiences, especially for the podcast, of course, since there's 3 of us here. But he asked on Twitter and on his YouTube community page, give us some questions, guys. So we have some questions. I proposed that, excuse me, I have the hiccups because I guess that conversation was so crazy. My body's like rejecting itself now. But I did propose that we kind of prioritize questions that we can more immediately answer, that are something that we've either thought of before or something that just, like, you know, on the spot we can talk about.
Yeah.
The more advanced questions, we are gonna kind of skip on and have those be the ones we're gonna answer at the end of future episodes, because those are ones, for me personally, I think we can all agree we want to think of a good answer, because I see Yu-Gi-Tubers so many times get a question on a Q&A video that's like, what's an archetype or what's a theme you've always wanted? And they're like, I don't know, maybe this, but I want to be like this. You know what I mean? Like, so I want an actual answer. So that's why we're just gonna kind of go through the list and anything. I kind of prioritize. I like kind of moved the questions around so that way it would be set like that, and the ones at the bottom we probably won't get to anyway. Yeah. But if anything is too heavy or advanced, of course, any of us could just say, "Oh, can we skip this for a later time?" Because I really want to have a better answer. Yeah. So I again talked too long for my own good. So Jello, do you have the question list up? Do you want to ask the first question, and then if you want to strongly enough, you can go ahead and answer it right afterwards as well.
Sure. Let's see. So the first question is from Distro. Since they were probably one of the first to give us any questions, we figured that we would go with this one first. So Distro asks, how much do you know about the anime compared with the game? I guess I'll go first with this one. Like, before I started YugiTubing, like literally the only thing I knew was the anime. But now that's sort of shifted in the almost year that I've been doing this. So I'd say maybe, like, if I were to put it percentage wise, probably like my knowledge of the anime is like 10%, and then everything else is just TCG related. What about you guys?
My attention span when it comes to the anime is horrifyingly bad. I've got about the first arc watching of everything before like something else came along, and I never repicked it back up. And then I just read spoilers, and that's how we got the Attic Mister video.
Thanks a lot, by the way.
I always glad to help break down the barriers for you. But yeah, what's that adventure timeline? I have approximate knowledge of many things.
Oh man,
that's where I'm at with anime.
Okay, so I can't open up the questions because I just remembered that I'm doing a window capture and all of our faces went away for a sec.
Oh no. Okay, I'll
Oh no.
I will say my answer then, and like I said, I'll read the next question after. Okay. So I watched real quick. I watched all of the original Yu-Gi-Oh, all of GX dubbed. So I haven't seen season 4. Again, my knowledge is limited, just like these guys here. But so I watched the original GX and 5Ds all when they were airing. So it's been a long time. I've never sat down and rewatched it as like a human being, you know, because when you're a kid, you're like not real yet. So at 5Ds, Arc 5 is next, I think. That was during my break in the game. It wasn't because of Pendulum. I actually broke near the end of 5Ds, and Pendulum just happened to come out. So by the time I woke up from my coma, like it was really crazy, you know, seeing all these new cards. But so I've never seen any of Arc V, but I've looked up some stuff based on curiosity, similar to Nova, like just random stuff, knowledge about the anime from looking it up. And then Zexal, I actually watched the first season subbed like immediately when it was airing, and I actually really liked it, but I fell off because I was in high school and it just like didn't work with like my life, and I was like caught up because I was literally watching it as it was airing. And then what's after Zexal? Vrains?
No, it was Zexal.
It
Arc
was
5
Zexal,
and
Arc 5. Okay, so that all stays true, but it was Zexal, and then Arc 5 I didn't watch any of it, and because of life I ended in Zexal. Didn't watch Arc 5. I watched the first 5 minutes of Vrains, but I was pirating it, and so it like kept freezing and I gave up. Yeah, so it was just like some pixels or something. But so my knowledge is very poor, because even though I've seen probably 70% of the anime, 60%, it was all so long ago that I don't remember anything. So my knowledge is definitely geared towards the TCG, which is sad because it's not even that good in the TCG either. But that's where my niche lies, I guess. So thanks for the question.
No, you have the most wins. Don't you dare say.
What does that make us? You know, like, come on, man.
If I'm bad, then what are you guys?
A sham. I'm a sham.
I just want to say one thing. Like, like what happened to you in life? Because like as you were explaining it, it's just like as when you're a child, you're not like a real human being yet, and then you like dropped out and went into a coma and then came back. I'm like, holy crap! You're taking that literally. I was wondering. I was just wondering.
I know we're already over time of our like hour limit and we're answering questions, but really quick. The coma was hyperbole, and I do apologize if it was a little offensive for anyone who actually has ever dealt with that in their life or known someone. When I worked at my first job, I knew this girl who was 24, and we were at the time, and I was like 18, and we were talking about the Black Eyed Peas. We made a meet me halfway joke, and she was like, who are they? And she was like, oh, that must have been when I was in a coma from Lyme disease.
Whoa,
so that was very crazy. That she, like, actually, like, it was just so like nonchalant, and she was, I guess, in a coma for like when I was in middle school for a while. Like, I don't know, but it was the most crazy, like, I guess, coma related experience I've ever on a first person basis. But that's a little anecdote you can share with your friends. She's all fine now, of course.
Okay.
It's just, I guess, she lost the knowledge of the Black Eyed Peas, so as fine as you can be, of course, with that. But Distro, thank you so much for the other question. Opinion about rush duels / costs of the game / video games duel links. So we're just gonna nix out that cost of the game because we already kind of
talked about it,
threw our hearts on the floor with that one. I guess I'll answer first. Yeah. Well, we didn't stomp on it. The
scalpers did.
Yeah. Rush duels, I like it. I like the art style for what it is. I recently made a tweet saying that I don't gravitate towards like waifu or like anime style cards, because I look at Magic the Gathering and I see all these amazing like literal paintings digitized and put on, and I like digital art as well, and I like anime. I'm an avid watcher of it, but for some reason it just hits different when it's like a very like monster-esque thing that I know I am summoning out into the world, as opposed to like an anime character, you know. I don't know, this like disconnect I have with that. But Rush Duels, I think the updated artwork is very beautiful. I think the frames are very awesome as well. The fact that I don't have to like count by twos the levels to see what a synchro monster is. Obviously Rush Duels don't have synchro monsters, but you know what I mean with the number on the star. That is a beautiful change. And then Duel Links, I downloaded it and never played a single game. I understand it can be free to play, but if you want to actually have fun on Duel Links, I'm pretty sure you do have to pump money into it. And I'm so invested in physical TCG that I never want to spend a penny on Yu-Gi-Oh! That isn't something I can touch and sniff and lick, as Jello so eloquently put it earlier. So with that, I guess we could do reverse and hit Zane first this time. So like back that way.
Duel Links is really fun whenever I was playing it. I never grew out of Six Samurai because the deck is still good and no one can beat it. And I'm not going to log in to prove you otherwise. Just take my word for it. I really want to play more of it. It does suck. I've heard that you have to, like, you can. They make the structure decks so that there's like 3 of scattered across multiples of them, and you can get your first one using just in-game gems, but you have to physically buy the other ones. And that kind of sucks, but like, you know, see exhibit when we talked about the profit motive for companies kind of thing. Like, of course they're going to do that. Rush Duels are really cool. I like the concept of how it like takes, because there's nothing in Rush Duels that doesn't technically exist outside of the regular rules. It just tweaks a lot of them, and it makes it really cool. And then they added maximum summoning, which is probably one of the coolest summoning methods ever. And it is canonically, I'm putting an asterisk there, I say canonically like I actually mean it, but it is canonically the polyamorous summoning condition, and that's why it's too powerful for regular Yu-Gi-Oh! And we'll never see it stand. But that's why we need Rush Duels here, damn it. I want to summon my giant 3-headed worm dragon.
That'd be amazing. Is that everything you had? Oh, sorry.
That's all I got on my end.
Okay. For me, let's see. Rush Duels. I like the concept of it. It speeds up the game in a way that I feel like they tried to do with Speed Duels, hence the name. But this one executes on it a lot better. And the maximum summoning, the reason why I like the idea of it so much is because it reminds me of Vanguard so much. There's a mechanic in Vanguard called Legion, where you do the same thing on your Vanguard circle. So you have one thing, and then you seek the mate from your deck, and you place it with your Vanguard. So like every time it attacks, it has that combined power. It's a really old mechanic at this point, but yeah, that's what it reminds me of. I do want it here. I just like, because it is Yu-Gi-Oh, but it's distinct enough in its own way and format that it is technically another game. So depending on how expensive that gets, I'm kind of hesitant to get into it, because I don't want to have to, invest myself financially into another card game. But I enjoy the idea of it, and I wouldn't mind if it came here. I'm just worried about the reception that it would get, because if anything, like playing out of two different regions, like Asia and North America, the reception to a lot of things like what with JC said, it's very anime style, right? And in Asia, like no one really cares, right? Because we're in Asia. It's like, yeah, anime is like woohoo. And like we kind of embrace that as part of just like, yeah, that's just the aesthetic of the game. We like it regardless and things like that. But like Magic is still big. I used to play Magic back in the Philippines too. But like coming here, there's like a different connotation to wanting to play like waifu decks or anime style decks, because like if I, for example, played my Evil Twins or my soon to be Doremi chords, people would call me a simp here for it, but in the Philippines they'd be like, yeah, that's just another deck, whatever. So I'm worried about how that will the reception will transition from here to from Asia to the North American audience. When it comes to paid, the price of the game, yeah, we talked about this already. It sucks, and it has inhibited me from trying other games. But moving into the video games, because I think like the broad term that they used was like video games of Yu-Gi-Oh. So every video game that I've played, Yu-Gi-Oh video game that I've played, on consoles or whatever, like, so I think it was like Duel Academy on the Game Boy, Tag Force 2, Tag Force 3, and everything under that sort of umbrella, I have played pirated. One, because I was in Asia at the time and it's really cheap to do that. Two, I'm a cheapskate anyway, so that's just what I do. So I've never had to pay for those, but you had to pay to get them per se. So it was like Legacy of the Duelist, the one that came out, with microcoder and that stuff. You have to pay to get into those, and I feel like that's sort of the closest form of like virtual Yu-Gi-Oh that you can get. Like the whole experience without having to pay any money after the fact, or like after getting the game. So I stopped playing Duel Links, and is because of how hard it is to make a deck. Because I've played tons of virtual card games. I play Card Fight Zero, I've played Shadowverse, like all those, like a lot of other TCG gacha games with the booster mechanic. But the one thing that is missing from Duel Links that I think they'll never put in, because Konami's business model is just like that, is the ability to make any card after gaining enough resources, right? In Shadowverse, after you grind enough, like story missions or whatever, you can make a deck. Like, I remember when I first started playing, all of my friends had already been playing for a while, and they told me, oh, you can just make that deck. Like, you can just, recycle all the cards that you don't want and then make every single part of the deck that you need for this other build. I'm like, oh, okay. And the same thing goes for, I don't know if Hearthstone does it. I've never played Hearthstone. But Card Fight Zero does it. And that's one of the reasons why, like, even though I've only been playing for like 2 or 3 weeks, like, I have like enough pieces to make competitive decks. So but I've been playing Duel Links for almost a year now, and I still only have one Stratos because it's so hard to get him, right? Like, up until recently, he was only in the selection box, and you could only open like, it's like a stupid number. You can only open like a couple per like opening phase or whatever they want to call it. And then even when he was put into a regular booster, there's still 180 packs that you have to go through, and my luck with RNG is garbage. So like, it really sucks. Like, I hate that model, and that's one of the reasons why I'm scared for this like Yu-Gi-Oh Master dueling thing that they're coming up with, because if they're going to go with the same model, I'm not going to touch it, because I'd rather pay either for the game that I don't need internet to play and I don't have to pay for anything after, or get the actual cards, because I don't want to get stuck in this whole thing, because like I'm horrible with staying free to play. Like, I'll admit I've put at least $50 into Duel Links, and I regret every penny because I don't even touch the game anymore. So yeah, I just don't like it. I don't like the state of their online games.
Couldn't agree with you more.
That definitely makes sense. I agree with Nova. That I agree with Jello there. That definitely makes sense for sure. I will say, the next question by Distro. If we're all in agreement, I do want to save this question because I feel like it's a lot deeper than I can answer right now, because my brain is putting it's past 8 p.m. EST, so I can't think. But I'm just gonna say it real quick just to acknowledge it. But again, we won't answer this. Maybe that'll give you guys incentive to tune into a future podcast where we'll randomly drop the answer to this one. But Distro's third and final question is: what new mechanic could be added to the game that is not an extra deck summon? So before we all unanimously agree that it is ultra ritual summoning, we'll of course sit on that and kind of figure out what that exactly means. But for now, we'll go on to what are we capping it? Because right now we answered 2 questions, and we're getting to the hour-and-a-half mark. Yeah. One more question, or should we just cap it off at this for now, or even longer? I don't know. I'm good, but it's up to you guys.
Good for 5 more minutes.
Okay. 5 more minutes? Okay. Right. We'll shoot it. 4 more minutes. 4 more minutes. I talked too long. Okay.
4 minutes.
0_000 asks how modern ice barriers could become tier 1. Oh gosh, this is a tough. Okay.
I know how. I know how.
Already broke it. Okay. Just answer it because I don't know. Answer it. Jello, go.
Okay. So you play ice barriers like any build. And then after you lose that game, you completely just shift it out and play a different deck. That's how it becomes tier 1.
Oh,
that's the
those
only
are the strats, baby. Those.
Okay, we're all in agreement. Oh wait, no, go ahead.
Yeah, so we can make ice barriers tier 0. All it'll take is 486 strategic hits on the ban list, and I'm going to go ahead and get started. Number 1, we're going to go ahead and ban Verte Anaconda. Everyone hates that card. Number 2, we're going to ban Dragoon. It doesn't matter if we've already banned Verte Anaconda. I just don't like the way they look. Ban number 3, we're going to get Twin Longhorns in the format. It has nothing to do with it. I just don't like how they look. Ban number 4, we're going to get rid of Instant Fusion. That's right. 1 was too many. Get it out of here. I don't like it. Ban number 5, Norden. Norden's already banned, but like super banned. Get him in the boat.
Like, just banish him from the game.
I want him rotted out of this game.
But also, we must remember. We must remember that the all powerful Nova has stuck to longest time E-Telly to 3 though. Everything else banned. But,
absolutely.
But
yeah. Ban every other card in the game, and then bring E-Telly back.
Ice barriers and E-Telly. I don't even think there's an overlap there. Check out Nova's ice barrier video to find out if there is a psychic type ice barrier. Who knows? They got spirits. They got synchros. What else do they got? I don't know. I do know. I watched this video exactly. Okay, we have 2 minutes. I do want to hit this one just because it's very relevant to right now. Haver Cardman asks, "What could be in store for us in Lightning Overdrive? Maybe TCG exclusives." Now that I'm reading this out loud, I feel like we should look up some cards that could be OCG imports also, because this is actually a bigger question than I realized. Nova, I think you're the only one who's paid attention to Lightning Overdrive. I don't want to
one shot answer.
Jello,
Just one shot answers. Yeah.
Sorry, you two overlapped. What's the decision?
Just one shot answer. Just like.
Yeah, what do you want in the set?
Another TCG exclusive archetype with 15 cards added that does less than War Rocks, baby. We're going downhill. If we're not gonna get follow up to other TCG ones, then we might as well just keep this train going.
Oh man. For me, if it doesn't come out in Ghosts from the Past, then I want Holy Knights in this set. If not, then War Paper. That will do less than War Rock.
And they will be psychic type. and you're now in the Yu-Gi-Oh guys. Thank you so much for watching that.
You can't end it on that. No. Find a different outro.
I got. Oh, JC, what do you want in there? I'll close it off.
I don't know. My answer is going to be too long-winded. You know me at this point. We've gone through how many episodes? We'll just skip me and I'll answer it next week on In the Yu-Gi-Oh. Nova, I pass off the talker to you to go through the chat to thank everyone.
Oh my god.
I'd like to give a big thank you to time me, Terrio Frost, Unfound Prodigy, John R. Even though you're wrong about Platinum Rares, Terrio Frost, Fat Guy Yu-Gi-Oh. Let's go here. Haver Cardman, thank you for showing up. Arts with the Fro. I know you're in here. There you go. Arts with the Fro. Gosh, I think it just repeats those three same people over and over again like Groundhog Day. No, Noel Antonio is here, and Larry 20 showed up again. Thank you all so much. JC Theater YGO is in the chat. I don't know why they bother right now. They should be doing theater right now. This is completely irrelevant. And Jordan Balbus. Thank you all so very much for watching.
47 seconds.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Nice.
But yeah, thank you all so much for stopping by and watching this. It makes our Sunday evenings magical and awesome. Thank you for listening to me ramble on about the evils and injustice of capitalism, which you can find in my follow-up to Kropotkin's work, In Search of Pokemon Cards. Or In Pursuit of Pokemon Cards, that's the reference. But yeah, any other closing remarks from my absolutely fabulous, outstanding co-hosts?
I'll go ahead. Go ahead. Don't worry, I'll end.
I just want to say, if you haven't gotten your podcast fix from us tonight, since you won't be hearing from us again until at the earliest, the 21st of this month. That's because we are bi-weekly. Bi-weekly always sounds like it's twice a week instead of every other week to me. I don't know if I'm using words correctly.
I looked it up. To find out.
Yeah.
It means both. The most confusing.
Oh my god!
It means both. And I hate it.
We just like implode. Like we all just like.
Funny enough. If you want to hear Nova struggle with that concept a little, you can really hear the pain in his voice when he mentions bi-weekly. It is in Fat Guy Yu-Gi-Oh's first Space Ghost Coast to Coast with GoldenNovaYugioh. It's his first episode of his new podcast interview series. Check that out. I highly recommend it. It was very well done. I don't really listen to podcasts because I'm on one, so when I'm not at work, I don't want to be back at work. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check that out. I have no doubt in my mind that you will see some other familiar faces on that series going forward, because I think That Guy Yu-Gi-Oh has a great taste in character and judgment in like not only Yu-Gi-Oh creators but people who I actually care about, who aren't kind of like low-key scummy and bad that like the same card game as me. So definitely check out his podcast for sure. We'll probably see some amazing treats going forward. But for now, only one treat is there, but it is the best one, the golden, delicious Nova. So that's my closing statement. I guess plugging other things, since I don't make content. I just blend cards and hop on this every bi-weekly, twice a week or every other week. I don't know, but Jello, I pass the torch to you now.
All right, guys. Like Nova and JC have already said, thank you so much for coming out. You make this podcast worthwhile. And little fun fact, if you guys didn't already know, Fat Guy Yu-Gi-Oh and I actually like half of Fat Guy Yu-Gi-Oh and I live in the same city, and then the other half is like 3 hours away. So I was actually talking to them one day, and hopefully we can do one of those as well. But instead of being over video chat, it would be over coffee in like an actual place. So hopefully that happens at some point, because they still do live pretty far away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that opportunity, guys. I have pinned in the chat the intheyugiknowpodcast at gmail.com. Make sure, just double check if this is the correct thing, because I wasn't able to go and check the actual video description where the actual email for this podcast is. Send us in your questions and, you know, like even your hilarious, funny stories from, you know, your experiences at locals or memories and stuff. And yes, JC?
Real quick, shout out Larry20. I actually have the email on my phone, like logged in.
Yeah.
They already sent us a question,
Awesome.
so the email is accurate. Thank you, Larry20. We'll add you to the queue and answer that eventually.
Yes.
I haven't read the question yet, but just shout out for thank you for using it. Our first emailed professional podcast emailed question. Yes.
Feels good. Anyway, guys, we don't want to keep you any longer. I don't want to keep these two any longer. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for next week. I don't want to say the other term because it's freaking all of us out, and I don't want to implode into nothingness. You guys are now in the Yu-Gi-Know.
This is you. This is the Yu-Gi-Know. You're in it now. Woo!
All right.
Yeah. We got to start the next video with us removing
The audience real
That'll
quick.
be
Give
it.
them a good good audience. Good audience. Good audience retention. Good.
Oh man, like I never know what to click first. Like, do I click stop streaming first and then it'll